Have you ever watched a door close in your life and felt a quiet, heavy ache settle deep in your chest? You watched them walk away. The people you thought would be your lifelong companions. The ones you believed would stand beside you through every battle. As the silence filled the room, you sat alone and asked the question that so many chosen souls have whispered in the dark. Did I do something wrong? Has God forgotten the desires of my heart? While you were looking at that closed door and mourning the loss of relationships that once felt like home, something was happening in the unseen realm, something that you could not yet see. God was not punishing you. He was clearing your path. He saw the invisible chains that tied you to those relationships. He saw how those counterfeits were slowly and quietly draining your spiritual strength. In His mercy, He initiated a silent exchange. He removed the old to make room for the new. Chosen one, hear the truth of heaven today. Your isolation was not a rejection. It was a divine rescue. God did not close those doors to leave you empty-handed. He closed them because He is preparing you for a covenant alignment, a connection that defies human expectations. He is preparing you for a younger soulmate. I know how the world thinks. I know the voices that tell you it is too late, or that the gap in years is too wide to bridge. But God does not consult human calendars. He does not operate under the limitations of human culture. He is aligning your steps with a younger soul carrying fresh energy. A soulmate who does not carry the heavy baggage of your past. Someone who will run with your vision, not drag you back into the mud. The separation you have lived through and the years of quiet waiting were necessary to break the old generational patterns in your life. God had to bring you into solitude and heal your wounds so that when this younger soulmate arrives, you can receive them with clean hands and a whole heart. In the book of the prophet Joel, chapter 2, verse 25, we find a promise that is being activated in your life at this very moment. The Lord declares, I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten, the hopper, the destroyer, and the cutter, my great army which I sent among you. Let those words wash over your spirit. I will restore. The years you spent in toxic relationships, the years you spent crying over people who only knew how to take and never how to give. The years when you felt your youth and energy draining away in barren places. God has kept a record of every single drop of your devotion. He has not forgotten the time you lost. And the way He restores those lost years is not simply by giving you comfort. It is by bringing a divine partner whose presence brings rejuvenation. This younger soulmate is a key part of your restoration. Their energy, their fresh perspective, and their devotion to the path will make you feel as though the years of dryness never happened. The enemy wanted to use counterfeits to ruin your calling. He sent people into your life who looked like the promise, but were actually the poison. They spoke the right words. They wore the right masks, but their hearts were locked tight against the truth of who you are. Every time you tried to build with them, it felt like trying to write on water. Nothing remained. Nothing grew. Only exhaustion. But God said, no more. He allowed the friction to become so intense that you had no choice but to let go. He allowed the betrayal to occur, not to destroy your trust, but to shatter your illusions. The counterfeits had to go. They could not walk into the next season with you. The weight of the glory God is placing on your path would have crushed them. They were meant for the shallow water, but you are being called into the deep. Your isolation was the clean room of the spirit. When a surgeon prepares to perform a delicate operation, he does not do it in a crowded market. He does it in a sterile, silent room. That is what your season of loneliness was, a sterile room. God was cutting away the old, lifeless layers of pain. He was cleaning the wounds left by past betrayals. If this younger soulmate had entered your life while you were still carrying the poison of the past, you would have projected your old fears onto their pure heart. You would have built walls where you should have built bridges. So God kept you hidden. He kept you in a place where only His voice could reach you. He protected your capacity to love. He saved your heart from becoming hard and bitter. And now the space is ready. The clean slate is established. The person God is bringing to you has been prepared in their own private place of transformation. They are coming with a clean spirit, ready to honor the calling on your life, chosen one. If you feel the resonance of this truth in your spirit, and if you are ready to let go of the ghosts of past counterfeits and step into the alignment God has confirmed for you, I want you to make a declaration of faith. Go to the comments below and write, Justice. Write it in all uppercase letters, Justice. Let it be a signal to the spiritual realm that you accept God's verdict. You agree that the old is gone and the new has been released. Justice. Write it now and let it anchor your expectation, because we are about to go deeper and examine the vulnerability required to open your heart once again. It is terrifying to open your heart again after it has been shattered. You have spent years sweeping up the broken pieces. You have spent nights rebuilding your walls, brick by brick, telling yourself that you will never let anyone close enough to hurt you again. You looked at the scars left by the counterfeits, the people you trusted with your deepest secrets, who turned those secrets into weapons against you. The pain of that betrayal did not just break your trust, it almost broke your faith. You began to believe that love was a trap, that every connection was a transaction, and that the only way to protect your calling was to live in a fortress of absolute isolation. But a fortress can easily become a prison. The enemy wanted to keep you locked inside that dark room. He wanted you to believe that your heart was too damaged to ever carry the warmth of a true connection. He wanted to disqualify you, but God has other plans. He is calling you to step outside the gates of your fortress, not to be destroyed, but to be restored. In his profound work, The Four Loves, C.S. Lewis wrote a warning that resonates deeply with every chosen soul who has known betrayal. He wrote, "To love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything, and your heart will be wrung and possibly broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, you must give it to no one, not even an animal. Wrap it carefully round with hobbies and little luxuries. Avoid all entanglements. Lock it up safe in the casket or coffin of your selfishness. But in that casket, safe, dark, motionless, airless, it will change. It will not be broken. It will become unbreakable, impenetrable, irredeemable. To love is to be vulnerable. Let those words settle. Impenetrable, irredeemable. That is the danger of the fortress you have built. In trying to keep yourself safe, you risk letting your heart turn to stone. God does not want an unbreakable heart. He wants a soft, living, breathing heart. And He knows that you cannot do the work He's called you to do with a heart locked in a coffin of self-protection. So He is sending a key to unlock the door. He's sending a younger soulmate whose presence is designed to show you that vulnerability is not your weakness. It is the doorway to your destiny. The enemy meant to destroy you through those counterfeits. He sent them to poison your trust and steal your joy, but they did not have the final say. In the book of Genesis, chapter 50, verse 20, Joseph stands before the very brothers who betrayed him, threw him into a pit, and sold him into slavery. And he says these words, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." This is the divine verdict over your past heartbreak. The counterfeits intended to break you. They intended to make you bitter. They wanted to leave you so scarred that you would never dare to love again. But God, in His infinite wisdom, oversaw the entire process. He took their evil intentions and began weaving them into a canvas of restoration. The heartbreak was not the end of your story. It was the prerequisite for your true alignment. God is using the lessons you learned in the dark to prepare you for this new covenant. Why has God chosen a younger soulmate for you? Because you need a fresh slate. You have spent years dealing with partners who carried generational baggage, who brought their own storms into your life and expected you to drown with them. They were set in their ways. Their hearts were already hardened by the patterns of this world. Every conversation felt like a negotiation. Every step forward felt like dragging a heavy stone. But this younger soulmate represents a fresh beginning. They carry a spirit that is still open, a heart that is still soft and free from the cynicism that has hardened so many lives. They do not look at you through the lens of past betrayals. They look at you with honor and a willingness to learn and grow. This age gap is not a barrier. It is a bridge of divine design. Your maturity will guide their passion, and their youthfulness will rejuvenate your tired spirit. Together, you will create a balance that defies the logic of this world. They bring the fire, and you bring the foundation. For too long, you have believed that healing can happen only in isolation. You thought you had to be completely whole before you could ever allow someone to love you. You thought you had to fix every crack in your soul by yourself. But some wounds can only be healed in the presence of love. This younger soulmate is not a distraction from your healing. They are an instrument of it. Their gentle presence and pure devotion will be like healing oil poured over your old scars. You will find yourself laughing again without fearing what comes next. You will find yourself speaking without having to filter every word. The friction that defined your past relationships will be replaced by a deep and restful sense of ease. God is showing you that you do not have to struggle to be loved. You do not have to perform to be kept. You are simply allowed to be. This is the peace that you have been praying for, a connection that heals rather than harms. Chosen one, if you are tired of settling for counterfeits and refuse to live in the fortress of fear any longer, I want you to make a choice today. Declare that you will not accept anything less than God's highest design. Go to the comments below and write, "I will not settle." Write it clearly, "I will not settle." Let it be your declaration that you will not settle for the crumbs of toxic relationships. You will not settle for partners who drag you down. You are waiting for the younger soulmate God has authorized for you. I will not settle. Write it and let the peace of that decision fill your soul. Because we are about to move into the promise of a double portion of joy and the rejuvenation that is coming to your spirit. For a long time, your life was overshadowed by a heavy grey cloud. You woke up with a feeling of dread in your chest. You walked through your days doing what was expected of you, but the color had drained out of your world. You survived. You kept the faith, but you forgot what it felt like to have joy. The enemy wants to convince you that this is your permanent state. He wants you to believe that the price of your calling is the loss of your happiness. He wants you to believe that because you are a chosen vessel, you are condemned to carry the cross of loneliness forever. But he is a liar. God does not want you to spend the rest of your days merely surviving. He does not want you to look at the happiness of others and wonder why it is kept from you. The season of dry bones is coming to an end. The season of mourning is giving way to a season of restoration. And the restoration God is bringing is not a small, quiet comfort. It is a double portion. In his spiritual reflections in Letters to Malcolm, C.S. Lewis wrote a line that challenges the religious idea of suffering. He wrote, "Joy is the serious business of heaven." Let that sink into your mind. The serious business of heaven. Joy is not an afterthought to God. It is not a secondary luxury that He only gives if He feels like it. It is the very air of the kingdom. It is the currency of the celestial realm. And God takes the business of your joy very seriously. He saw how the counterfeits stole your laughter. He saw how they left you in a place where you felt like you had aged 1,000 years in a single night. So He is sending this younger soulmate as an ambassador of heaven's serious work. Their presence is not just a nice addition to your life. It is a direct infusion of joy, a clean, vibrant, youthful joy that will break the heavy atmosphere hanging over your home. God is using this connection to remind you how to laugh again. He is using it to restore the lightness of your spirit. In the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 7, we find a divine decree of your vindication. The word of the Lord says, "Instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion, and instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance. And so they will inherit a double portion in their land, and everlasting joy will be yours." Let those words anchor your faith. Instead of your shame, you spent years feeling ashamed of the doors that closed. You felt the disgrace of being abandoned by those you loved. You listened to the whispers of the accusers who said you were too old, too broken, or too difficult to love. But God says, the shame was not your destination. It was the preparation for your inheritance. He is not just restoring what you lost. He is giving you double. For every night of tears, He is giving you nights filled with twice the laughter. For every person who walked away, He is bringing a partner who will love you with twice the devotion. This younger soulmate is the physical manifestation of your double portion, a gift of grace that far outweighs the shame of the past. Chosen one, if you are ready to receive the double portion of joy and believe that God is restoring the years that were stolen, I want you to step forward in faith. Go to the comments below and write, "I receive my restoration." Write it in all uppercase letters. "I receive my restoration." Let this be your sign to the heavenly realm that you are ready to let go of the ashes of the past and receive the beauty of this new season. "I receive my restoration." Let the words settle in your spirit. There is a divine reason why this partner is younger than you. You have been through battles that have aged your soul. You have carried weights that have made your heart feel heavy and tired. Without realizing it, you began to think and act as though your story were already over. But God is not finished writing your book. This younger soulmate is sent to bring a youthful, creative energy back to your spirit. They carry a fresh perspective. They look at the world with wonder and hope. And when you are with them, you will find that their light begins to rub off on you. You will feel your own mind becoming renewed. Your physical energy will return. Your creative vision will be rekindled. They will remind you of the dreams you abandoned when the storm hit. They will encourage you to try again. This is the miracle of divine alignment. God uses the youthfulness of this soulmate to revive the sleeping dreams of the chosen one. Your restoration will not happen in a dark corner. It will be a visible testimony of God's justice. Those who whispered about you and measured your worth by your age or your past failures will watch in silence as God lifts you up. They thought you were finished. They believed that after the counterfeits left, you would slowly fade into the background. But they did not know who you belonged to. When they see you walking in covenant with this younger soulmate, and when they see the joy on your face and the peace in your home, they will have to acknowledge that God is with you. Your happiness will be their silent defeat. The enemy will have to watch as his plans to destroy you are transformed into a platform for your elevation. You do not need to fight for your reputation. You do not need to defend yourself. God is doing the defending. He is preparing a table for you in the presence of your enemies. Chosen one, as we prepare to look more closely at the covenant foundation of this relationship, I want you to make another declaration. Declare that Christ is your strength and your shield. Go to the comments below and write, Christ in me. Write it clearly, Christ in me. Let it be your shield against the lies of the accusers. Let it be the anchor of your heart as you step into your restoration. Christ in me. Write it now, and let us move forward together. God is not a conformist. He does not write stories that match the templates of human expectation. If he did, he would not be God. He would simply be a reflection of our own limited imaginations. When God prepares to do a deep work of restoration, he often chooses paths that make the world shake its head in confusion. He brings a partner who does not fit the boxes your logical mind expects. He introduces a connection that makes your peers ask questions, because God is not trying to satisfy the crowd. He is moving to fulfill the covenant. A covenant is not a contract. A contract is based on mutual suspicion and human rules. A covenant is based on divine authority and eternal alignment. This younger soulmate is not a casual encounter. They are a covenant partner. They have been chosen specifically for the complexity of your calling. Where the world sees a difference in years, God sees the perfect harmony of two destinies. In the book of Ruth, in the final chapter, verse 15, we find a beautiful declaration spoken over Naomi, a woman who had lost her husband, her sons, and many of her youthful years in a foreign land. She returned to her home empty, bitter, calling herself Mara because she believed the Lord had made her life bitter. But God had not forgotten her. Through Ruth's covenant loyalty and the birth of Obed, the women of the city stood before Naomi and said, "He will renew your life and sustain you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you and is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth." Look at the beauty of this restoration. God did not restore Naomi through conventional means. He used a younger foreigner, Ruth, to bring a child who would renew Naomi's life. In the same way, God is using this younger soulmate to renew your life. They are sent to sustain you, to remind you that your history is not defined by the graves of your past, but by the new beginnings waiting in your future. They will stand by you, defying the logic of those who thought your season of productivity was over. One of the greatest lies the enemy will whisper in your ear is that this younger partner is a distraction. He will say, "You are a chosen one. You must remain alone to keep your focus." A relationship will only dilute your spiritual power. But this is religious deception. God did not create you to run the race alone forever. He said in the beginning, "It is not good for man to be alone." This younger soulmate is not a weight that will slow you down. They are a source of acceleration. They carry fresh energy and clear determination that will push you forward when you feel like stopping. They are not asking you to carry them. They are ready to run beside you. Their presence will activate spiritual gifts in you that have been dormant for years. You will find yourself writing, teaching, and building with a level of inspiration you thought you had lost forever. They are the wind in your sails, sent by the Creator to carry you over the remaining mountains of your calling. In your past relationships, walking together felt like a constant battle over which direction to take. You wanted to go deep, while they wanted to remain in the shallows. You wanted to honor God, while they wanted to please the world. Every day was a struggle to remain spiritually centered. You felt like you were dragging them toward the light, while they were pulling you toward the dark. But in this covenant, you will run together in the same direction. There will be no need to convince them of the importance of your calling. They will see it. They will honor it. You will pray together with ease. You will share the mysteries of the Spirit without fear of being misunderstood. It is a connection of mutual acceleration. Where one is weak, the other is strong. Where one is tired, the other carries the fire. The path that used to feel like a steep mountain climb will now feel like a smooth road because you are no longer carrying the weight of a counterfeit. You are walking with the partner God designed for you. When you hold the hand of this younger soulmate, every tear you cried in your isolation will suddenly make sense. You will look back at the quiet rooms, the empty Friday nights, and the painful separations from people you loved, and you will say, "Now I understand. If God had answered your prayers 5 years ago, you would have settled for a counterfeit. You would have built a life with someone who could never understand your depth." The delay was not a denial. It was a protection. God had to keep you single until this younger vessel was mature enough to meet you. He had to wait until the stories of both your lives aligned. The pain of the waiting season is now validated by the quality of the connection. You will see that God's timing was perfect, and that His choices are always better than our expectations. Chosen one, if you are ready to welcome this covenant partner and accept this renewer of your life, I want you to make this declaration in the comments. Go to the comments below and write, "Younger blessing." Write it clearly, "Younger blessing." Let it be your acceptance of the divine gift. Let it declare that you are ready for the acceleration and that you welcome the fresh wind of heaven. Younger blessing. Write it now as we prepare to close with the dream of restoration and a final blessing over your path. There are moments in the spiritual journey when restoration is so overwhelming and so complete that your mind struggles to accept it as reality. You look at the peace in your heart. You look at the partner sitting across from you. You rest in the quiet, peaceful atmosphere of your home, and you feel as though you might wake up at any moment. You fear that it is only a beautiful illusion, a temporary dream that will vanish when the storm returns. That fear is the shadow of your past. It is the memory of the counterfeits whispering that you do not deserve to be happy. But you must tell that fear, your time is up. The restoration God brings is not a temporary relief. It is a lasting reality. He did not bring you through the wilderness just to let you die in the oasis. He brought you through the fire to bring you into the inheritance. The union you share with this younger soulmate is the tangible proof of His verdict. It is the seal of your covenant. You are not dreaming. You are finally living the story God wrote for you. In one of his comforting letters, collected in Letters to an American Lady, C.S., Lewis wrote a sentence that explains the purpose behind every fire you have endured. He wrote, "God, who foresaw your tribulation, has specially armed you to go through it, not without pain, but without stain." Let those words settle. Not without pain, but without stain. You have felt the pain. You have known the heat of the furnace. You have felt the cuts of betrayal and the ache of loneliness. But look at your spirit. You did not become like the counterfeits. You did not learn to play their games of manipulation and deceit. You did not allow bitterness to stain the purity of your heart. God protected you. He armed you with a supernatural grace that kept your soul clean in the middle of a dirty battle. And the reason He kept you without stain was so that you could meet this younger soulmate with a pure spirit. They are receiving a vessel that is clean, matured by the fire, but not hardened by it. Your pain was the price of your maturity. Your unstained heart is the gift you bring to this covenant. In the book of Psalms, chapter 126, verse 1, we find the ultimate description of this restoration. The psalmist writes, "When the Lord restored the fortunes of Zion, we were like those who dreamed." This is the promise that is manifesting in your life today. Your fortunes are being restored. Your laughter is returning. Your mouth is being filled with singing. Those who watched you weep in secret places will now watch you rejoice in the public squares. The Lord has done great things for you, and you are filled with joy. This younger soulmate is not just a romantic partner. They are the answer that grew from the tears you sowed in dry ground. They are the harvest of your patience. You sowed in tears, and now you are reaping in joy. You are like those who dream, because God's goodness has exceeded your greatest expectations. Every step of this journey was already written, long before you met the counterfeits, and long before you cried in the dark room of isolation. God had already drafted the manuscript of your life. He saw the day you would meet this younger partner. He knew their name, their spirit, and the exact moment when they would cross your path. The mistakes you thought you made and the wrong turns that felt like wasted years were actually the necessary chapters that brought you to this page. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was lost. This union was written in heaven before the foundation of the world. It is a divine collaboration. And because it is written by the finger of God, no human voice can erase it. No demonic plan can tear it apart. Step out of the fear of abandonment. This partner is not going to walk away like the others did. They are anchored to your destiny by the covenant of the Almighty. Let us bow our hearts in prayer. If you are ready to receive this covenant and let the past go, I want you to join your spirit with mine. Heavenly Father, I thank you for your faithfulness. I thank you for the doors you closed and the counterfeits you removed. I see now that your hand was always protecting me. I see that my isolation was your sanctuary. Today, I release my fear of being hurt again. I open my heart to the gentle, living presence of your love. I receive the younger soulmate you have confirmed for me. I accept them as a renewer of my life, an accelerator of my calling, and the partner in my covenant. Give us the grace to walk together without the shadow of the past. Heal every remaining scar, and let our union be a light that points others to your justice. We receive this alignment. We step into this inheritance. In the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. Chosen one, if you have prayed that prayer with me and are ready to affirm this covenant in the physical realm, go to the comments below and write, I receive my alignment. Write it in all uppercase letters. I receive my alignment. Let it be the final seal of your faith. Let it declare that you are no longer waiting. You are receiving. I receive my alignment. Write it now, and let the peace of God rule in your heart. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May He make His face shine upon you and give you His deep, restful peace. You are a chosen one. Your restoration has begun. We will see you in the next sermon. Amen and amen.